learners. So now we will be discussing another case, and in this video we'll be discussing Methanex versus United States of America. This case is decided in the year 2005. So the award came in the year 2005. So what are the factual circumstances surrounding the case that will be discussed in this particular video? Methanex is a Canadian corporation, and they are basically producing methanol, and they have around 17% of global supply of methanol. So it's a very big corporation. This methanol produced by them is mostly consumed for producing MTBE, methyl terryl butyl ether. MTBE is an oxygenate for gasoline, and methanol is a primary ingredient for manufacturing MTBE. And most of Methanex production is also used in United States for producing MTBE oxygenated gasoline. So US gasoline market is the biggest consumer for Methanex production. Now in this context, what had happened was the University of California got a project from the California Senate bill, and they received funds of around 500,000 USD dollars in order to evaluate the risk of having MTBE as an oxygenate for gasoline, and also to look at whether there are any benefits because of using MTBE. And the California Senate bill sort of did not give a lot of discretion to the governor. It directed the governor to enact suitable orders pursuant to the research findings. So, University of California undertook 6 research projects in order to evaluate MTBE as a oxygenate for gasoline, and then submitted its report to the state. Now, few days before the submission of the report, we can see that there was an election and the governor has changed. Governor Davis took office as governor of state of California, and when the report was submitted, it was submitted to Governor Davis, and then there was public hearing of the report, and ultimately the research finding came to the conclusion that MTBE pose significant threat. I mean, if it is used as an oxygenate for gasoline. Then, since the mandate of California state bill was the governor has to enact an order based on the research finding, either in the affirmative, asking to use MTBE as a oxygenate for gasoline, or in the negative. So there were no other scope for the governor, and based on the research finding, governor passed California order in 1999, and pursuant to this order, there were a lot of obligations that were levied on different state agencies. One on California Energy Commission and the California Air Resource Board to sort of come out with a timeline through which MTBE as an oxygenate for gasoline will be phased out. And it had to be phased out before 31st December 2002. So that was the first part of the order. The order also gave a mandate to California Environmental Protection Agency, which was a state EPA, to evaluate the health other health and environmental benefits of using ethanol as an oxygenate instead of MTBE. So that was another mandate given to California EPA as well. So California EPA wrote the report along with other state agencies, including California Air Resource Board and Water Resource Agency, as well as Office for the Environmental Health and the other agencies relating to environment. Then the report that California EPA submitted stated that ethanol as an oxygenate is something that's more manageable compared to MTBE. So now if we see the chronology of the events, first there was a California Senate bill. Senate bill granted the project to University of California. They submitted the research findings. Based on the research finding, Governor Davis enacted the order, And from the order, there were certain mandates given to different state agencies, and the California Environmental Protection Agency had submitted a report stating that ethanol is an manageable alternative compared to MTBE. If we see, nowhere in any of these instruments the word methanol was used, nor Methanex was used, right? In order to implement the California order, certain resolutions were passed from the governor's office, and one of the resolutions stated that MTBE will not be used as an oxygenate for gasoline after 31st December 2002, and then they realized that there was not much of an alternative for MTBE. So subsequently, Governor Davis issued an order extending the date from 2002 to 2003. I mean, a 1-year extension was given. Meanwhile, the order also stated that ethanol will be used as an oxygenate for gasoline. So, if we see MTBE and ethanol is used again in these resolutions as well, we don't find any mention of methanol or Methanex. At this particular point of time, there were federal regulations, that is the US EPA, US Environmental Protection Agency, had come out with certain regulations with regard to what sort of gasoline can be sold, whether it is conventional gasoline or it is reformulated gasoline, and as per that there was certain mandate for California as well with regard to certain reformulated gasoline. So, the Governor Davis had requested the US EPA for waiver from implementing these provisions in the state of California because they have their own mandate with regard to what sort of gasoline can be sold. Then there was no reply from US EPA. A second request was also sent. Then the US EPA rejected the waiver request. Subsequently, Governor Davis had to file a case before the Ninth Circuit Court, and the court reprimanded US EPA for not looking into the merits of the request and simply rejecting the waiver request. So, pursuant to that, Governor Davis was able to successfully implement their own standards of gasoline, what would be sold. So, that implementation came through these resolutions. The first resolution stated that MTBE will be prohibited from being used as a gasoline additive, and ethanol had to be used as a gasoline oxygenate. And the third thing was with regard to the subsequent order that extended the implementation of the resolution from 2003 onwards instead of 2002. Now, with that, a subsequent amendment comes to the resolution, and this particular amendment contained a list of prohibited elements that could be used as an oxygenate for gasoline, and that is the first time the word methanol was used in the context of all the instruments that California had enacted. These were the factual circumstances of the case, and we can see that the Methanex had raised a claim that the measures taken by California and especially Governor Davis was done with an intention of promoting local ethanol industries and to harm foreign methanol producers. This was a claim made by Methanex, and in the initial hearings or in the preliminary hearing, Methanex was not able to establish a legally significant connection between the measures and the investment it had made. So, thereby the first award that the tribunal had passed, it sort of looked at it questioned the lack of legally significant connection between the measures and the investment, since Methanex was only a producer of methanol and methanol was in no way addressed in all the measures except through the last amendment, and because of some procedural technicalities, Methanex was not directly able to challenge the amended resolution. The reason being why it was not able to challenge the amended resolution was because it had filed a notice of dispute even before the amended resolution came into effect. So, the first notice of dispute was filed in 1999 itself. So, that point of time the amendment had not taken place, and therefore, it could not, it did not mention about the amendment and notice of dispute. And secondly, when it amended its claim, at that particular point of time 1 year had already lapsed from the enactment of the measure. So, even when Methanex was amending the claim, it was not able to bring this because 1 year had lapsed, and also in the previous claim Methanex had promised that it will not bring any more claims. So because of certain procedural complexities, the tribunal also stated that the amended resolution is not something that Methanex can directly challenge, but the tribunal allowed Methanex to use it to make a claim, otherwise to use it as a supporting data for some of the other claims that Methanex had made. Even when the tribunal questioned whether there was a there was a legally significant connection between the measures and the investment, it still the tribunal found jurisdiction to hear this particular claim because Methanex had made one allegation that the governor's intention was to promote domestic ethanol industry, and to substantiate that, Methanex stated that Governor Davis before his election had met with some of the officials of domestic ethanol producers, and it gave the example of ADM. So basically, ADM officials have met Governor Davis before the election, and that ADM officials have made substantial political contribution to his election. That was the point that made tribunal to decide that probably there could be some credibility to this contention, and therefore the tribunal allowed Methanex to elaborate more on this particular issue, and then the tribunal said that it will take a call on whether the matter could proceed to the next stage, that is a merit stage. So the Methanex could not could not make a claim with regard to other issues, and it's all, especially with regard to Article 1101, its claim was little nebulous in the sense that tribunal was questioning what is the proximate cause for filing this dispute by interpreting Article 1101. But this tribunal allowed Methanex to elaborate on the claim with regard to the intent why that regulatory measure was enacted. So on that particular front, the case proceeded to the next stage. So in the next video, we will look at what were the violations of NAFTA provision that Methanex were alleging, and how did the tribunal rule initially with regard to the question of whether Methanex has a prima facie case to proceed to the merits hearing or not. So there was an initial partial award that was passed, and over the partial award there were many interpretation requests that were made by Methanex. So this is something we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.